You're watching France24. It's time now for our daily look at the international press. Joining me in the studio, Helen Papper. Good morning, Helen.
Good morning.
We've been seeing a lot of pictures coming out of Burma, of course. What are the press making of it today? I'm imagining that the facts are now established. What about the opinions on it all?
Lots of opinions and actually lots of emotion. You've got a very interesting and telling cartoon in the Lebanese paper, L'Orient Le Jour, Have a Dream for Burma. And that's a very telling drawing. It's quite representative of the mood in lots of papers this morning. The protests, which are seeing tens of thousands of monks, non-civilians, hitting the streets in Rangoon in protest of the military junta, is bringing hope to many in the country and abroad. You have the article, the British paper, The Independent, No Injustice Can Last Forever. That's a telling title. That's the message that Prime Minister Gordon Brown sent out to the Burmese government as a response to the threat of unspecified action. The government said it would take action if the monks didn't stop their protest. And so we're at a bit of a juncture, and you can tell that. You can tell that in the articles that hundreds of thousands of people in Rangoon yesterday in the streets. It's hard to see, though, how these protests are anywhere close to receding, so everybody's wondering what next. And for the regime, it's a huge risk. According to Andrew Bakambi, the Independent's Asia correspondent, he says the number of ordinary people willing to risk the police and militia grows every day. So that's also quite interesting. And there's also another article in there, The Sons of Buddha have little choice but to march. That's basically what they're saying about what's going on. The emotion is also riding high in Burmese papers like the Irrawaddy. This paper, based in Thailand, has several moving op-ed pieces, especially one that caught my eye, Sing Suu Kyi, Tears on University Avenue. We'll remember that Suu Kyi, she's one of the leading anti-military junta women, and she's been seen as a hero. She's been under house arrest and in prison basically for the past 17 years, off and on. And they all walked together with the monks.
Well, she appeared at her gate to salute those marches, didn't she, over the weekend? And
absolutely.
That was the first sighting of her for 4 years. Helen, moving on to another burning issue, of course, Ahmadinejad of Iran is continuing to shake things up in the Big Apple. What does the press make of that?
That's right. Well, it's all over the press. The Spanish paper El País sums up the Iranian leader's main concern in a first few lines. He wonders who really is responsible for 9/11. He also asks for an investigation into the Holocaust, and he claims there are no gays in Iran. He's kind of all over the place, and that's what the press is saying. They're saying, well, he's on a roll and he's talking about everything at the same time, and it's quite jumbled up. So for the New York Times, the Iranian leader is on a roll, and there's a very interesting article, if you get a chance to look at it, an op-ed piece by the journalist Dana Milbank, who does a great job in pointing out that although he sounds thoroughly convinced and sure of himself, Ahmadinejad is just wrong. The name of the article is quite appropriate, The Unreality Show. Point by point, he proves it. He says, for instance, Ahmadinejad says that for hundreds of years we've lived our friendship and brotherhood with the people of Iraq. Well, as Dana Milbank points out, that's true, as long as you don't count the little unpleasantness of the Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s, for instance, when 1 million people died, stunned by poison gas. And so he really goes, point by point, and that's very interesting.
Helen Papper, thank you very much indeed for that look at the foreign press for us today. Stay tuned to France24 for more news.